Welcome to the Everblack Nerdcast. I am Nev.
I am JD.
Well, it has been a while since we've done one of these, hey, mate?
It has indeed. But, convention season is upon us.
It is. It sure is, man. Supanova, Comic-Con and Gaming Expo comes up in April for us on the Gold Coast and Melbourne. And this is something we look forward to every year because you troop at them sometimes as well. With
I try to troop at them. This time, however, will be very, very limited trooping. I will be there under the Everblack banner this time. Excellent. It's going to be such a good weekend. And some of the guests here, like there's some guests that I've just been hanging to meet, like John Heater.
Oh, hell yeah.
Dynamite. Oh, mate, I can't wait to get to my turn. Not only like Napoleon, but also like you're a big fan of Turtles. We all know this. If you don't know this, what rock are you been under? Yeah, like you're a big fan of Turtles, so what was his character's name?
Napoleon.
It was a frog, right?
Yeah, Napoleon Bonafrog.
Yeah, like that's just too perfect. But I'm also a big Blades of Glory fan, so I even thought about doing like a Chaz Michaels like cosplay and like get a photo with him in like the stance of like when they're figure skating. I thought that would be a good one, but sadly not enough time to do those sort of cosplays.
No, but I do find it funny that of course he's known for Napoleon Dynamite. And they got him for Napoleon Bonafrog. That only clicked with me probably 2 weeks ago at like 2 a.m.
Really? You just sat bolt upright in bed. You're just like, dude, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's pretty funny. I was like, oh, Kylie, Napoleon Bonafrog and Napoleon Dynamite the same. She's like, go shut up, go to sleep. Okay, all right. So that was pretty damn exciting. But the rest of the lineup as well. I mean, we got Tyler Posey from Teen Wolf. We got Eliza Taylor, from the 100, and I can't even pronounce his name properly, but he's Stefan Kapsic.
I'd say Kapsic.
Kapsic, which is Colossus. Yeah, Colossus from Deadpool. Who I'm, me, I love Colossus. That's a massive, and of course Matt.
We've actually got a young lady in the garrison in the 501st, and she does a stellar Negasonic cosplay.
Oh, really?
She's from Mackay, North Queensland, and she has a friend up there who has a proper Deadpool suit. So they've done a photo shoot of Deadpool and Negasonic, and it's brilliant. So she's coming down, especially for Nova, to meet Stephen Kapsic, and I'm hoping so badly that she brings Negasonic with her so she can get a photo with him as her dressed as Negasonic. I just think it'd be too perfect because she has very much the same facial features as the actress that played Nega.
Wow. I can't wait to see that, man. And of course, Matt Ryan, Constantine, man.
Constantine.
He perfectly cast, and I'm so glad. I was so bummed when it initially got cancelled. And they've carried him over to like Legends of Tomorrow and animated stuff. So I'm looking forward to actually meeting him and picking his brains a bit. But man, there's so many. It's going to be such a good time, man. And of course, you've got Troy Baker and Nolan North, who we've got coming up on the next episode. But this episode, BRIAN DONOVAN, man. Naruto is, as you know, just a global phenomenon. Like how many people are just obsessed with Naruto?
Oh, dude, every Supernova you go to, there's so many characters. Like, I'm not familiar with every character, but there is so many characters there. And when you talk to the people that are cosplaying them, they're like, oh, it's such and such from Naruto. And I'm seriously blown away by how many people are right into it. Like, you see so many, they can go on about, oh, well, Dragon Ball Z is so much better and blah, blah, blah. Don't get me wrong. I think it is because I'm a big Dragon Ball Z fan. But the people that cosplay, you see so many more Naruto cosplayers than you do Dragon Ball Z. And it's not on, complexity of costume or anything like that. It's that these people are absolute diehard fans, and you get more of a feeling that there is a bigger fandom behind Naruto than there is for Dragon Ball Z and other popular animes like Bleach and whatnot. So, yeah, I try to talk to a lot of cosplayers because knowing how people put their costumes together and whatnot just blows my mind. What did you use for those shoes? Oh, I got a fry pan and, strapped it to my foot. And it's like, you what? And, how did you make your armor? Oh, this armor, it's all made out of foam. I know this now. I've made foam armor. It's not a fun process. It's messy. It's time-consuming. And by the end of it, your snot is pretty much the color of whatever the foam is. It's not fun. But I am seriously gobsmacked by the amount of effort that goes into some of these cosplays, and especially the Naruto ones, because a lot of the people, you can't buy some of these characters. Yeah. So these people are actually doing seamstress stuff and making these costumes from scratch, and it's astounding, the level of skill that goes into. I can't use a freaking sewing machine to save my life, but these people are making these costumes that I just look at and I'm like, you what? How the hell did you do that? Sorry, I've gone off on a little tangent there.
You did, but that's all good, man. Because I spoke to BRIAN DONOVAN, who is Rock Lee in Naruto, and he's a really cool, interesting guy. And he also dropped a little something for me that I got excited about, because I noticed that his voice was very similar to Michelangelo. It would be suited to Michelangelo. So he had a little bit to say about that, which you can hear in the interview. But he was just a real good dude, BRIAN DONOVAN. So we'll have the interview coming up in a minute. But in the meantime, we just need to give a quick shout out to our sponsors.
Our sponsors are Blacklight Art and Design, the guys that do our lovely shirts that we had made. Karen and Buzz, just absolutely phenomenal workmanship. Go see them for shirts, hats, any apparel that you may want printed. And, of course, our other sponsor,
RW Promotion, who are the best in the biz when it comes to stickers, flyers, banners, badges, and all other promo you need for your band or business. Long-time friend of ours, Richard. He's one of the best dudes on the planet. So www.rwpromotion.com.au. Go pay them a visit if you need some badges or some stickers for the con, because he's the man. He's the man. And, of course, Lumber Punks Axe Throwing Club, which isn't very far from where Supanova is going to be.
No. So go down after Supanova in costume, and I'm pretty sure that Sam and Tice will just lose their mind if you walk in full costume. I'd do it, because I'm, the Saturday I'm going to be done up to the nines as Savage Press. So, if I walk in with my horns and everything, they're going to lose their shit. But I'm not, because I have prior engagements. But you should. You really, really should.
Well, of course, if you mention Everblack in your booking notes, you get 10% off your session. So each session is 1.5 hours in length and comprises of a safety induction, instruction of tactical tomahawks and hatchets, and competitive play. Terms and conditions apply. Go down there, have a blast. It's just a good time.
Hell yeah.
All right. Well, here is my interview with BRIAN DONOVAN, who is Rock Lee in Naruto. You can meet him and a load of other guests on the Gold Coast from the 13th to the 14th of April. Or before that, if you're in Melbourne, the 6th to the 7th of April. Tickets are on sale now. Go get them. It's just a damn good time.
Come and find me. I'll have I'll look like I'm severely jaundiced. I got told the other day that I look like jaundiced Darth Maul. It's not fun, but I have fun with it, and you get to scare a lot of people in a costume like that.
It's it'd be quite large, Yeah. Lots of horns, lots of spikes, but it's good times, man. All right, buddy.
It is.
here is our chat with Brian. Thanks for joining us on the show again, guys. Everblackmedia.com. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and swing us some photos when you're at Nova. Share it away. Enjoy. Brian, how's things going, man?
Yeah, really good, man. Well, thanks for having me. I'm really excited, man, about Supanova.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, you're heading down here for Melbourne and Gold Coast Supanova next month, but have you been down for this one before?
No, I actually haven't. Yeah, I mean, I've been to Australia because I don't know if you know, but my wife is Australian and she's from Melbourne originally, and then she worked up in Sydney for a while. She's been in the States for about 15 years, but you know, I've had the fortune to hit your big island for quite a few times, actually, about six. I guess this will be my 7th or 8th trip, so I feel very fortunate in that regard. And I love Australia, so it'll be fun. But I've never been to Supanova, and I've never been to any cons there, so it'll be an added treat, to say the least.
I've got a ton of mates that are going to bombard you with Naruto stuff. So I hope your pen's ready.
Nice. Well, no, I'm excited, and look, and it's been such a nice run, that show, and Rock Lee, the character. I mean, I don't think any of us realized it would, we would last 11 plus years, with a spin-off with Rock Lee and his friends, and now Boy, I mean, it's just kind of the hit that keeps on spinning.
It's insane how big that show is. I mean, even now, it's massive.
Yeah.
And as I said, I've got a ton of mates that have just loved that character and love that show so much that it's just, and they're passing it on to future generations and stuff now. I mean, you've had such amazing career, in front of the camera and behind it as well. But, Rock Lee, that character is just cemented in such a legendary, what am I trying to say here? Sorry, mate. It's very warm here, puppy.
Well, I think, you launched into the legendary, and I think that's a good place to start and stop. I mean, yeah, I mean, it's, when I signed on, it's funny because I started, my first anime show was Flint the Time Detective long ago in the late 90s. And, and that was just kind of a fluke. I mean, someone said, you want to audition for this? And I said, yes. And cut to, I got Tony Goodwin in that, which, wasn't a big hit by any means, but that got me Digimon. And then after I was done the Digimon run, a few years later, they asked if I would audition for Naruto, and I was like, yeah, sure. And they weren't sure at that point where it was going to go, if it was going to really get any traction in the States, and, et cetera. I mean, they never really know, and they keep their fingers crossed that it's going to be a hit. But, cut to, it became a bona fide hit, and Rock Lee became, a big favorite. And, and I think the funny thing is with Rock Lee, I think you either love him or hate him. He's one of those characters that, either either really works for you and you kind of love the zany and he's a wacky character, and even Kishimoto, the creator, he said it's his favorite character to draw, which surprised him, and also surprised him that the fans would take to him so incredibly, because he first drew him to symbolize weakness of a sort, and but when Rock Lee kind of hit, it's you realize, wow, I have to rethink this, and what I love about Rock Lee, frankly, is that he aligns with a lot of what I believe in, as far as, without getting too wacky, but I really believe in the hard work and the passion, the purpose, the determination, the perseverance, the persistence, just the never give up attitude, and toss in a little pure heart in there, and it's just, he's a great character, and again, you either love him or hate him because he is so wacky, and I can certainly understand why some people are rubbed the wrong way with him, but it's also nice to know that the majority loves him. He's become this kind of, this legend. Taking it full circle to your statement.
Absolutely, and I mean, anime has always seemed to adapt a certain vocal style, especially when playing younger characters. Is there a term in the industry for that kind of vocal performance, or is that something you had to learn and adapt to?
Yeah, well, it's yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I mean, there's definitely a certain anime sound. As far as, playing the younger kids, I was kind of, I'm kind of blessed, I suppose, because it's been good to me. But I have a higher register. Mind you, I'm an old fart now. But I still kind of have this teen twang, and that's really served me well, especially with these younger characters. Digimon and Davis from Digimon was even younger, and so it's kind of, I'm able to, not naturally necessarily, but kind of able to bring that younger twang, and it comes very easy to me. Rock Lee was interesting though, because they didn't want any contractions, and so he's got this kind of stiffness to him, as zany as he is. There's no contraction, so he doesn't say, doesn't. He says, do not, and all those, and so that was an added element that was really difficult for me, because I speak really lax in general. My natural, flavor, I suppose, if you will, is very lax, and it's, it's a lot of slang, so just kind of a loose talk. And so Rock Lee was really the antithesis of, kind of who I am, at least with his delivery, with this kind of very proper delivery, sans the contraction. So that was probably, that's a big challenge for me, frankly, because I had to kind of figure out a way to make him, fun and human, but yet, a little more proper, and kind of the bumbling, stumbling knight in shining armor, that was probably the big challenge, I would say.
What about when it comes to the fight scenes and how you approach that vocally? Because I can imagine, like, doing it physically, sparring with someone in a room, and then reserving yourself in a vocal booth. I could imagine that being a bit of a challenge, having to not only use your imagination in that, but also to make the right sounds for the action, if you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And, I think most voice actors will tell you, and I'm sure you've interviewed more than a few, if you have a great director and, an established rapport, and, most directors will save all the fight stuff towards the end of your voice over session, because some of them will last, 3-4 hours. And so they know, if you blow it out in the fight stuff early on, you're pretty much, you're going to burn it out, and you're not going to get to, the rest of the dialogue or the other stuff. And so typically what happens is it just gets pushed down the line until the end, the last half hour, the last hour, whatever it takes, because they know there's a very real possibility that you're just not gonna be able to do it anyway. Your fatigue or your voice is just gonna get harsh and hoarse, and or you're gonna lose it. I think me and almost every other voice actor, especially if you do video games, but certainly some of the anime fight scenes, you can even taste a little blood in your throat after a while. but it's but you come there, and honestly, they're taxing for sure, but they're really a lot of fun, especially if you have the very infamous Rock Lee fight with Gaara. That was awesome. It went over a few episodes and a couple sessions because it was so intense, and and we did want to get the story arc, but also the fight and the action and the effort and stuff. But yeah, you just you kind of have an idea of what you want to do and what you want to accomplish. You also, with a good director at that time, it was Mary Elizabeth, it was infamous in the anime world, and she really, she's very helpful, and okay, more of this, less of that. Maybe try this, and so that's great. If you have a collaboration like that with a director, that's golden, because that, takes you to a whole nother level, and also gets you out of your own little box, that you might have created for yourself, or maybe you've tapped your creative choices, and then they go, think about that, try this, and then you go, yeah, great idea, and then you kind of rip, and it just kind of frees you up for that next, that next batch, or that next level, or that next intensity, things like that.
So I find that really, really interesting, because I'm a metal vocalist myself, and I want to get into that.
Oh, nice.
World. So I know what you were saying about saving some of the harder stuff till last, because you don't want to burn yourself out too quick when you're recording and stuff like that. So I've never really thought of it like that. So that's a really good tip for me, because eventually I would like to be doing what you're doing. Yeah, that's really, really interesting, man. And of course, throughout Naruto and Shippuden, my friends are going to kill me. Shippuden, I can never say it properly. Shippuden.
That's all right, man. Believe me, I still struggle, and I've been doing it for 11 years. Well, 20 plus if you include all of them. But Yeah, man. No worries. I won't judge you, nor should your fans.
They will. They'll flame me for this. But you mentioned before, how he progresses above and beyond his limitations, and you probably saw that from the first script right to the end. Did you have any sort of input into that?
No, not really. And you definitely have some. You definitely have some creative, freedom to, create things as you go. But, the problem is, especially with anime, you typically don't know, unless you somehow found the Japanese original and really have tried to find that. But, typically you're only, you're getting the script in the session, and the director is kind of talking you through the context of what's happening or picking up where you left off. So a lot of times, you're 100% of the time, really, you're making choices on the fly, based on, this, aggregate history, that you have with the character or not, right out of the gate, when you start a new series, like, Naruto I did, back, 12 years ago, you just have a general idea and, you have a character description. But then it's really up to you and the director and whoever else is in the session. And also, the Japanese, representatives, early on sometimes, they're in on it too, kind of developing what they would like to hear or, stuff like that. So, there's a couple people, in the kitchen, so to speak, cooking the first couple episodes and your character just kind of shape it a little bit. So you go, okay, this is what we're committing to. But sometimes that changes a little bit, but, very rarely, I would say, you're really establishing things, within the first couple episodes. And then you get in the rhythm too, because you're not, because you are kind of doing things in the beginning, you're just getting those little nuances. Again, those contractions I was talking about with Rock Lee, it's kind of just figuring out, a natural way to do that, stuff like that. So you're definitely fine tuning as you go along. But yeah, and then as you go, you have a little more, creative freedom. You want to try different things, like, during a very, another famous scene, the Drunken Fist, the potion punch, all that stuff, that was super fun because, we just went outside the box on that one because it was quote unquote drunken. I had a lot of freedom to, develop kind of what I wanted to do, which was really fun with Rock Lee too, because as proper as he was with, the lack of contractions, he was also super zany. So I had a lot of freedom to really, punch a lot of things, when he got, just nutty and crazy. And that was always super gratifying creatively,
That's unreal, man. And you know what I hear in your voice also, don't take offense to this, is I'm a big Ninja Turtle fan. So I've got a Michelangelo tattoo on my arm right now, and I think you would be the perfect Mikey. Have you ever applied for that or auditioned for that?
Yeah, it's funny you say that, man. Bittersweet. I came in second to that gig, very early on in my voiceover career. And that always stung a little bit because, it's such an iconic, brand and characters and so it hurt. And then I was up again and came in again second. So, I've never been able to capture the prize, so to speak, or the flag. And, whatever, it is what it is. I've had a great run on other things. But, yeah, those things hurt because, I do get that a lot. It's like, it would have been fun being a turtle.
Yeah, well, man, that's,
sorry.
You never know. You never know, brother. You never know. But I was going to say, man, what's next for you? What you're working on now before you head down?
Well, it's I actually two films, and one I believe I'm showing while I'm there. I don't know how much bio research you did, but I've been touring this documentary I made about my little sister now called Kelly's Hollywood, and I've had this really wonderful run, and that's going to be part of my trip to Australia, and I think we're showing them at the cons, in fact, and I'm super proud of it. It's so easy to recommend because it's a love story. It's a triumph on dreams and perseverance. A lot of those things we talked about with Rock Lee. And the other one that's coming out later this year is called Famous, and I did that with a bunch of anime guys, Lex Lang, Jeff Nimoy, and that actually takes place in the con world, and it should be a lot of fun. In fact, I would imagine maybe possibly this time next year we'll be talking about that one. So, yeah, that's it. And then, more stuff. But, Neville, thank you so much for your time, man. I really appreciate it. And thanks to all your fans and your your followers and readers, and and I look forward to meeting everyone in the Gold Coast or Melbourne in a month.
Excellent, man. I'll be definitely there to come say hello, bro. Until then, safe travels, my friend.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. Thank you very much, and thanks for your time. I'll see you in a few weeks.